Welcome to the rebirth. Hello, my real ones, and thank you so much for tuning into a new episode of Real with Rayo. Or if you're watching this for clicking on this YouTube video, I am so honored to have you back again if you're new here. And if you're not, hi, I'm Arayo. I have a podcast called Real with Rayo. It's self-development based where I interview people I'm curious on and believe we can all learn from. Now, I know this episode is called The Real Rebirth. That is a very intentional choice because the last year for me has been honestly transformational in good and bad ways. I've been in situations where I've had to really rely on my faith, but also be still. And it got to a point where it was one thing after the other, one thing after the other. Something would happen to me, and I'll be like, okay, yep, this is bad, but I'm devastated. I can get through this. And then something else happened, and then something else happens. And honestly, my friends have been amazing because even they're like, whoa, you have been through it. And it's just by God's grace that I'm making this video today because 2 weeks ago, I sent a diary invite to myself that I was going to record this video today. And due to unforeseen circumstances and some of the things that I've been dealing with in my personal life, I wasn't sure I'll have the strength to actually make this video today. I had this plan about Raw with Rayo's relaunch. I was even supposed to get my hair done. You can see I just have my natural hair out today. And life happens. I haven't been able to do all of these things. I haven't been able to execute the rebrand in the way that I initially wanted to. But I was speaking to my friend, and she mentioned it's really important for us to keep the promises we make to ourselves. And for that reason, I really had to pray and just gather the strength and make this video today. So, hello. Welcome to the rebirth. I call it the rebirth because when you go through things in life and when you're in true stillness, you just can't ever come back the same person. And it could be in a good way, it could be in a bad way, but you will just never ever be the same. And that's what's happened to me. I'm going to touch on every single thing as I go on, not in this video, but over the next couple of months because it's been a lot. And I really want to make these videos bite-sized because let's be real, we're all competing for your attention. Over the past year, I took some time out because I wasn't sure about the direction I wanted to go with Row with Rayo. The idea and the premise of the show will always be the same because that's the same idea I've had since 2020 when I decided I wanted to create a podcast, even before I launched the podcast. And I'm really grateful for all the amazing guests I've had so far and all the funny memories I have on the podcast, going into a studio to record. It gave me so much joy. And it really was the highlight of my weekends because during the week, if you don't know, I work 9 to 5. I work in brand partnerships for an advertising agency, and my clients are Samsung, Lego, and Essex. So I look after all their UK partnerships. And I've been in this role for almost a year and a half now. Absolutely love my job, absolutely love my team. It's really true to me, and I've learned so much, and I'm still learning because I'm still in that role. However, when I dropped the episode with, I believe it was Stephanie and Yvonne, I was still fairly new into the role. I must have been just like a month in, and I really wanted to take that time to nurture my introduction into the role because it's a role I prayed for and I wanted for a really long time. And with everything else that you want to make sure that you're sowing the seeds, you're putting your best foot forward each day, you're learning, you're growing, and all these things have been happening by the grace of God. And it just took priority over a lot of things in my life, because as much as I love this Row with Rayo, I absolutely love my job, and progression is very important to me, and money is very important to me. Hey, let's be real. I say all that to say, during the period of rebirth, I started to realize the importance of spiritual maturity and also our destiny. I don't know if you've ever had this or heard this phenomenon where when you have an idea and you don't execute it, the idea goes to someone else. And the reason that is the case is because ideas come from God. So if God has planted an idea into your heart and you don't execute on that idea, he still wants that idea to be executed in the world. So he's going to pass on that idea to the next person for them to execute, because we're all in one consciousness, right? So if ideas can float, why can't destiny? And I've been thinking about that for a really, really long time. And I think sometimes we downplay our calling, we downplay our passion, we downplay the reasons why we choose to do certain things. I know it's not a coincidence that I've always been interested in media, and I love media. I studied law and media at uni. I've had a YouTube channel since I was a teenager. I was vlogging on Snapchat before it even became a thing. Like, this is really and truly my passion. This is what I love to do. It's not a coincidence, it's my passion, and it's not a coincidence I'm good at it, because I know I'm good at it. I know. However, what am I doing with those gifts? It's not supposed to be something I just do for fun in my camera roll and it's sitting in there. It's supposed to be put out to the world. And by God's grace, you get value from it. And it's a fulfillment that's fulfilling for both parties. It's fulfilling for me because it's true to my strengths, but it's fulfilling for you because this strength comes from God. You're getting value from it. And I really want to take that responsibility seriously as I move into this rebirth, which is why I will be introducing solo episodes. From the inception of Real with Rayo, I always known I wanted to have guests on, because I've learned so much from so many people. And I almost felt silly for not having my own platform where other people could learn from, and where I can learn from people and people can watch that. That's really what inspired Real with Rayo, sharing knowledge. And I don't know why I never really explored solo episodes. Not because I didn't feel like I didn't have anything to say, because I am a yapper, but I also felt that was taken away from the initial idea I have. But two things can be true at once, and not only can they be true at once, two things can coexist at once. And for this reason, I will be having solo episodes. They will be bite-sized, 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes max, if it gets to that point. And they are going to be very fluid. So it could come from a topic I'm really passionate about and want to speak on, or a topic that's currently resonating with the season of life I'm in, or an interesting perspective I've observed and feel like sharing. I really want to hold that space for my creativity and my fluidity, because I love structure and I'm very process driven. And the overall premise of Real with Rayo will have elements of structure and process, but also it's important for me to be true to my creativity and have elements of just intuition and fluidity. You will still be getting full length interviews with different guests I admire, and hopefully you do too. I will still be recording those episodes in the studio because I love doing that. I love that I can go out at the weekends and record with guests and edit it after, or have someone edit it for me, and it's just a whole day. It's the podcast a day in the life. It's a vibe, right? However, doing that consistently is just not sustainable for me financially because it's expensive, and everything you've seen with Real Rebirth so far has been self-funded. And for me to be consistent with having episodes out, I also want to introduce solo episodes, which is why I bought a new mic, bought a mic stand, and I'm still figuring out the setup. I haven't had as much time to do that recently with everything that's been going on, but I'm committed and we will figure this out together. I really want to have amazing guests on this podcast, and guests that I truly believe will not only inspire you, but also motivate you, and guests you can learn from. And the past couple of years, it's been really difficult for me to get guests on this podcast. I have to be honest. And it's due to a plethora of reasons. Sometimes it's scheduling, where a guest will say, yes, I really want to be on the podcast, sure. And it's just a matter of finding time because they're growing at an exponential rate, and it's just not possible for us to lock time in. Or I've had situations where I've been flaked on, I'll be honest. And I've also just had situations where the guests just don't feel comfortable, being on camera, because I'm a visual person and visual elements are super, super important to me. So I can understand that, and that's totally fair. But then I started to get a little discouraged. It made me feel a bit, oh my gosh, is this actually what I'm supposed to be doing? But that's a very, very wrong way of thinking, because of course it's what I'm supposed to be doing. It wouldn't have worked with all the other episodes I've done before if that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. It just wasn't supposed to be with those people. Changing your perspective when things are happening around you, especially when it seems to be one thing after the other, is really important because it protects your sanity, one, but also it protects your disposition as to how you look at your creative pursuit and the gifts that God has given you, because those little voices that start to chip into us and make us feel like we're not good enough is the devil, and it's simply a lie. I plan on figuring out a new system with Rayo. I'm working with an amazing friend who also has a media company called Move Media, and he's created a content calendar to help me schedule my episodes, but also schedule my time around my job, so that way I can manage my time better, but also work around a process which will help me be consistent. So I've effectively tried to find solutions for all the challenges that I faced over the past year and a half. And I truly hope that with this new system and with this new process, I'm able to figure out a rhythm that is true to Real with Rayo and resonates with every single person that clicks on this video and is a part of the community, a real one. I've been able to get through this video without crying, so I think I'm going to end it here. But I really want to say a big thank you to every single person who supported me, every single person who's believed in me. It means a lot. Putting yourself out there is hard, but it is rewarding and it feels very natural to me. So I'm excited to put myself out there again and explore the possibilities of this new chapter. I love you so much. Stay safe, and I should have a new episode for you next week. Thank you so much. Bye.